Building the Cypress CY73150 part. Extraction and checking of a well-defined table. Let's expand out the data sheets, click on the Cypress part, and bring up the Faucet PDF engine. Moving to page 5 containing the table content. Clicking on the page extraction extracts the entire page of content. We can also select the specific area, enclosing the area, and just get the table content. Now this is what we will refer to as a well-defined table. Selecting the auto table build builds the entire content of the table, and we can use the tag rows to tag specific rows which are not to be transferred to the PDF Scratchpad spreadsheet. Let's now reset the spreadsheet by clearing it with the reset button and move to the undo table. The undo table takes the table automation back one step to what we will refer to as cut lines. The undo all takes the table all the way back to the original PDF data cut and pasted from the PDF datasheet. Selecting the bound area will bound the entire area content. You can also draw a specific box for a specific area to be transferred. Let's enclose the first 3 columns of data information. The interactive row commands, as highlighted in yellow, will allow me to drop in the bounding area specific cut lines as shown in the maroon or magenta color. The vertical cut lines, at which time I can then build a table, moving it from the first state to the final state, and now ready to transfer the content to the spreadsheet, and you'll notice which content is enabled during the data transfer. After undoing all, I will bound the area content and then select Auto Cuts, which will take the bounding box as highlighted in the maroon color and automate the cut lines, the second step, and building table builds the cut lines into the final table, which is the third step of the process. We now can then transfer the content to the Scratchpad spreadsheet. Selecting Undo Table backed me up to the previous step. To demonstrate the other functionality within the interactive commands. For example, we must first put the editing mode or the filter mode in table objects, so that we're only selecting the table objects and not the PDF underlying objects. I can then select a specific row or column and move the table objects up and down and delete them. For example, I deleted that additional row of content. Building the table, now I have that extra cut line removed where I only have to tag the first row and not the 2 rows of content, transferring it to the Scratchpad spreadsheet. And the final button is the Insert Cut Lines around text objects. Now this is for a worst case situation where essentially we have no lines or very few lines, and we can put the object in text filter mode, selecting the text of content once we have the bounding box, and insert the cut lines above each previous text, as if there were no lines in the table at all. Now we can click on the vertical cut lines, dropping those into specific locations. Once again, this would be a worst case situation where we have not a well-defined but a completely undefined table. This concludes this training video on extraction and checking of a well-defined table. Thank you from the app development team at Accelerated Designs.